Hello, guys. How's it going? Welcome back to yet another episode of the Creators Corner podcast. I'm joined with Ananya today. She happens to be an up-and-coming content creator, just signed her first brand deal, and we're super excited to get into her life story and see what it's about.
Hello, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for calling me on the podcast.
Awesome, fantastic. So yeah, and then could you just give the people hearing like a brief background of what exactly you do online?
Of course. So I just started creating content like a year ago,
Hmm.
or it's not even been a year,
Yeah.
but just wanted to do something to try and document my life. And I think I've seen, and like all of us, have seen so many content creators online, so many people doing content. I just kind of wanted to give it a shot. And I make lifestyle based on my, I make content based on my lifestyle. I make just random vlogs. So yeah, I'm doing a bunch of things. I'm trying different formats out right now. And yeah, basically
Nice,
just documenting my life.
nice, fantastic. And like, what were like some creators you saw growing up? You were like, this is cool. I want to try this out myself.
Yeah. I
That,
think I watched a lot of YouTube growing up.
Yeah.
There are like so many girls doing these DIYs and like room tours and stuff like that. So I always used to think they're so cool. And I think the internet is a funny place, and like now any of us can be those content creators. They always seem so inaccessible back in the day, but I think now you can start your YouTube channel just, you have all the tools and anyone can be a content creator. And I think my brain is still like wrapping around that fact.
right.
Okay, that's sick.
Yeah.
But you say about how it's easy to break into content nowadays, right? Um, well, my question to you is, how long have you been doing this for, and what's the journey look like uh throughout your content creation journey, the ups, the downs. Give me moments when you had self-doubt. Give me
Yeah.
a success point where you were like, okay, I see traction with this.
I think with a thing that it's become so easy, it also brings us to the point that everyone is doing it. So it's a very stagnated place. It's
Mm.
very hard to create your niche. It's very hard to find your voice online because I think everyone gives you this piece of advice of like being authentic. But what does it mean to be authentic? Because how, like, I'm not going to sit and cry on camera. Like, that is just not happening. But so, how do I actually portray the fact that I am struggling or I'm winning? And like, how do you successfully tell that story online in a place where everyone can see you and so many people are judging you? I think it's just a very interesting concept. So, when I started it, it wasn't like, oh, I want to be an influencer. I think it just wanted to give it a go and try it out because it was something that was on my mind for a while. Just I think I just tried to document my life. In the beginning, it was just sort of like a passion project, but then the more that I got into it, the more that I started watching people and like learning tips, I think I got into this mindset of I need to grow and I need to see the numbers. And I think that's the worst thing that you can ever do, because when you start thinking of it like that, then it becomes so hard because you might be putting your best foot out there, but then you'll just do things because you think that someone's done it and got views.
Hmm.
But I think that's what you kind of need to unlearn those patterns. And I think that was something that's really hard, been really hard, and will continue to be really hard. It's something that a lot of like big content creators talk about it as well. It's because you start to like attach your self-worth to those numbers. And I think that's a very dangerous like cycle. I think you just need to be super clear with why you want to do content. Is it to document your life? Is it to create an impact? Is it to like tell a story? What do you actually want to do by having content out there? And I think once that goal becomes really clear, at least for me, it became really easy to not judge anything by those numbers and just do things that I love and document it and wait for whenever the right time is.
Hmm.
And I think because it's such a stagnant place and there's so many content creators, it's very important for you to find what you enjoy doing, what is your niche, in the sense of, I'm not saying that you have to have only one niche and stick to it. Like if you're doing beauty, it doesn't mean that you only have to do beauty content. You can do fitness content, you can do lifestyle content. It's it's very like your personality is your niche, and your personality has so many aspects to it. So you can't limit yourself to one. But I would say that I think when I found that, it just helped me kind of feel like I was in this flow. And I think that's when I started even seeing like certain results, and I felt like more in the flow state because I knew what I was doing. I found like a bit of my voice. Like I think I'm still in the process of everything. But I think it was the first moment where I was like, you know what, I think I know what I'm doing, or I like what I'm putting out there.
Right. And how long have you been doing it for?
I think I started like properly in July. So yeah, it's like I did like bits and pieces for like a year now, but then I think I properly started like 5 months ago. Yeah.
What do you mean when you said you properly started? So everyone that I've seen that wants to get into content, is really afraid to take that first step into posting their face out there, doing what they do, right? Like being their own niche, like you said, like putting their personality out there, because there's an aspect of like vulnerability that comes with that. Because, like you said, the internet is a funny place. And I feel like people tend to make fun of people regardless of, what they portray. And so, it's like that saying goes like haters will hate. But you said you
Yeah.
started posting properly 5 months ago. And so what got you to post not as consistently? And then what got you to post consistently come July?
I think at the beginning when I started, I was just kind of trying it out, and then I realized I really liked it, but I was scared. I think that's something everyone goes through because everyone's going to see your face. Everyone's going to have so much insight into your life. I meet people now and they're like, yeah, I know everything that's going on in your life because you're posting stuff,
Hmm.
which is very scary sometimes. I'm like, I don't know if I want you to know so much about my life, but that is something that happens when you start creating content. People probably will judge you. People have judged me. And but I think the thing is that if you really want to do it, if that's something in your heart that you want to do it, why not? Because there are a lot of people who will also praise you. There are a lot of people who will see your dedication, who will see your effort, who will actually see you for who you are. And I think that there are like ups and downs to everything in life. So if you want to do it, I think you should just start doing it and then like see if you enjoy it. I think once you start putting yourself out there, actually it doesn't feel as scary anymore because that first step is where it's really scary. Your first video where you're like, oh my God, what angle do I film myself from? But the more that you do it, the more comfortable you get. You can do it when you're sitting with your friends. You can do it when you're around things that it doesn't need like a lot of attention and mind space. And I think a really good piece of advice that I got from someone was that you shouldn't be affected by the way you look in front of the camera. I know that's really hard because when you're filming yourself, you're constantly being like you're criticizing yourself sometimes. You're like, oh, maybe I don't look good at this angle or I don't look good right now because it's impossible for you to always be at your best constantly. There will, if you're filming content every day, there might be like 2 days that you don't feel that good and 3 days that you feel good. And that's very natural. But you can't stop yourself from filming just because you don't feel as good about the way you look at that moment. And I
No, I
think
agree.
Mm.
like that really helps you get over that first barrier. And then there's the barrier of people judging you. And once you start posting, you will see that people will judge you in good and bad ways. And then you just kind of have to choose to look at the good more than the bad. And I feel like in general, if you have like a pretty supportive community of friends and family, it's not as hard because you have those people that you care about support you. And if maybe like you don't feel that comfortable, you can also open an account that they don't follow you on. Start posting there. See how you like it. Do it for yourself first, and then like the rest will follow.
Yeah.
It's kind of what I think.
That's fair. Do you think that you started posting more consistently once you got more comfortable with the camera, with your audience, and then you kind of started building your niche down from there? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I think 100%. I did start posting a lot more consistently. I think it was more when I got over the mental block. I wouldn't say like
Mhm.
even when I started posting consistently, it was very hard for me to talk to a camera and be fully authentic in front
Mhm.
of the camera. And I think I'm still like getting my whole like it's very if you know me in real life and if you know me online, I think I still have a lot of things that you will obviously know a lot more when you know me in real
Mhm.
life. Like it's very
Mhm.
hard to put your entire personality out there.
Mhm.
And I think that happens like slowly and eventually. But I would say once you get over that initial mental block of people judging you or you not looking good in front of the camera or like those basic things that a lot of people feel when they start content, it becomes a lot easier for you to start posting consistently. And after that is when you'll start to find like your voice, you'll find your niche, and everything sort of follows after that.
That's fair.
That's fair.
I wanted to ask you, Sid. So I know he is also a content creator, right? And he's breaking into YouTube and
Yeah.
Instagram and posting consistently. Do you think you also face some of the same, judgments as Ananya probably does on the regular? Or like, what are your thoughts on, getting over that first step of starting to post and then getting over that second hurdle of like people judging you, all of that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar to what she said, right? Like
Mm,
when I started, like when I yet post sometimes, like I know people from UBC and everyone are
hmm
watching these videos,
Yeah.
and I know like people from like high school are sending it to each other because of you can track these metrics. There
hmm
are tools on Instagram which you can do, and before like it bothered me, but like when I just started, it bothered me, but now like I'm a couple of years into it, I feel like who genuinely gives a shit? Like at this point, you've reached a point like you're doing it so often, like it doesn't matter what people think. And I think yeah, it's just like getting your first few videos out there and just like, ignoring all the noise. Like, some family members might say, don't do this, do that, XYZ, whatever the case is. But like you at the end of the day, only you know what you need to be posting every single day. So I completely agree with her. Like, just like lock in, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And other thing is like no one who has done content will ever judge you. No one who
Yeah.
has, it's always
That's
that thing
true.
where if you're above someone, you'll never judge someone. So if you're sitting there and like watching someone and laughing at them, then you should probably be doing something with your own time. So like no one
Exactly.
who
Yeah.
is doing something useful in their life will ever come to you and be like, Why are you doing this?"
100%. Absolutely. And
So I think it helps me think that way as well. It's like whoever's judging me just needs to do something with their time.
yeah, it's like, but like when people perceive you or like try to make you like demean you, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It's kind of showing what they are, like how they perceive themselves at the end of the day,
Yeah.
which it sucks, unfortunately, but that's how the world works. Like even if you putting a content example in this, like everyone says, start with a negative hook, that's what's gonna get you the views. Like I failed an exam, whatever the case is. I always question like why does it have to be like a negative hook, like why
hmm
Yeah.
can't it just be a hook? Like
Yeah.
what's up with this stuff? But that's the name of the game though. So yeah,
I think I think we've also learned that the internet like responds heavily to negativity. And
Yeah.
I guess the difference both of you are trying to make is that, put a positive spin on it and still get everyone to clap for you guys, which I think is commendable because not a lot of people do that, right?
Mhm.
Um, but even moving on from the content side of it, Aranya, I feel like you have other aspects to your life, right? Like you were mentioning that people don't always talk about. And I know for a fact another big aspect is your podcast that you run
Daily
called
dose of A.
Daily Dose of A,
Yeah.
which is also something I want to dive into because I think it's super interesting how you keep yourself busy because you have a full-time job, you work in advertising, you run a podcast, and you create content. How do you My first question to you with all of this is how do you find time to figure out what the right balance is between, working a 9 to 5 and then running your podcast, creating content, spending time with your friends, talking to your family? What do you do to like kind of find that balance?
I'm really curious with this answer. Yeah.
I think I'm also in the process of figuring that out because I just started my job, and I think content is something that I find joy in. So I think of it as like a task. So I try to like make it incorporated with my lifestyle a lot. So it's like whatever I'm doing, I'm kind of taking videos of that. So it helps me have the time to like spend thing like time with my friends, family, but also like make content out of it. Obviously, editing takes like time, but I think it's just if you enjoy it, I feel like it doesn't take that much of a toll on you because if you are working like a 9 to 5, I think you also need things that you do just out of pure passion and just like for the joy of it. I also am like a very big organizational freak, so I think that really helps, like planning out my time. So It's like, okay, on Monday I'm going to like record a podcast, but on Tuesday I actually don't want to do anything. So I'm just going to sit and read a book or like go out with my friends. So I think like balancing it all and just I think having like many aspects to your life also, especially for me, helps me not stress about or like hyperfixate on one aspect of my life. So even if like something is like, my job is stressing me out, but like if I have my podcast, if I have content, if I have like my friends, family, like I think it just sort of all balances it out.
Hmm.
So I think that like helps me even mentally. So I think like blocking your time out and just not like forcing yourself to do certain things. Like, I think if you enjoy something, it just also naturally happens sometimes. You're just naturally able to like create time for it. And I also always remind myself that like the president of our countries or whatever, like big CEOs, they all have the same amount of hours that we do. So if they're able to do so much in their day, all of us can do so much. It's just about like the way you utilize your time. So it's like rather than like maybe scrolling for 30 minutes, maybe edit your video for 30 minutes. And then it like, just simple things like that help you realize how much time we actually waste in our day, and how much we can use it to like do something that we actually want to do.
100%. And like right now you're in your like obviously all of us are in our early 20s here. So
Yeah.
I'm curious with this podcast, right? I know it's a bit too soon to say, but like what direction do you want to be taking it in? Because right now, like, you're working like in advertising and have you've graduated
Yeah.
university. Okay, awesome. So you're working in advertising right now and you want to be like would you want to potentially go the route of going full time in your podcast? Or what's that looking like?
I think like eventually I do have a plan to like my main goal with the podcast was to create a community of people who are really inspired by the things they do and who really enjoy the things that they do, very passionate. So I do want to have like host events. Like that's my like like long-term goal. I want to be able to create a community where I'm able to host events. I'm able to have like panel speakers. I'm able to like actually get people to maybe like workshops to help people really get over the mental block of like not being able to chase their dreams. So, Daily Dose of A is basically my podcast where the main goal is to get people on there who have done something in life that they're really passionate about, just in hopes to inspire like someone who listens to it, to chase their dreams. So, I think my eventual goal with that would be able to like have workshops, live things, to be able to like interact with people who want to build this dream life but are unsure how to, and to get people to help them do that. I think that would be like the eventual goal with that. I'm not really sure about like if I want to do content, podcasting
Hmm.
full time. I think I'm liking like the whole thing of like my 9 to 5 is something that I have others kind of dictating, and then the rest is like my own thing. Because I think if it's just like a lot of freelancers, they have this whole pressure of like everything is kind of your own self motivation. I
Yeah.
kind of like the distinction of having something that I have to show up to and something that I choose to show up to. So I'm enjoying that right now, but like you never know
Yeah,
where
of course, yeah.
life, yeah.
That's
Because
that's
like
fair. Yeah.
I know for him, he doesn't want to potentially work a 9 to 5, and nor do I.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like, so like no, like there are like differences in like the way some content creators like to operate from the others.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But so how are you running your podcast right now? Like, what's that entire process looking like? So is it like you come back from work and then rip an episode, or what's that looking like?
Yeah, I think like I usually on the weekends I spend like a few hours just like finding people that I want to bring on the podcast and then scheduling a time with them, like either on the weekdays after work or on the weekends. And I think then just like editing that episode maybe on the weekend after work, because you still have time even when you're doing a 9 to 5. And I
Hmm.
was also with the initial opinion, like I always told myself I never want to do a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
But then I realized that I actually like some sort of structure that's provided to me, and I like adding my own stuff to it. And like I think especially when you're working in fields like advertising, it's not like, when you imagine a 9 to 5, you
Mhm.
imagine
Yeah.
something very different. I always grew up with that as well.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that for myself. But then I think when you actually learn more about different industries, if you're actually doing something you're passionate about, like I realized that I don't mind a 9 to 5 because it doesn't feel as long and as boring as people make it to seem.
Hmm.
That's fair.
Um,
How did you how did you find something that you were passionate about when you yourself you're 20 21 years old, right? How did you find something where you're like, okay, advertising is helping me put a method to this madness, right? That is your life, where you're like, there's structure to my 9 to 5, but then also after that, it's intrinsic motivation that's pushing you
yeah,
through all this. Um, how do you find that, I would say, middle ground where you're like, maybe this is good for now? And
yeah.
then what do you do in your moments of self-doubt when it comes to, is the podcast working out? Are you gonna affect as many lives as you want to? Like, how do you do that? Because everyone has self-doubt at some point or the other, right? How do you overcome that?
I think it's completely normal to have self-doubt, and everyone goes through moments where they're like, I don't know if what I'm doing is actually creating impact. But I think what has really helped me is I have like a very specific end goal in my mind, and I know that I can make it happen. So I think that the belief in yourself is really important. Just telling yourself, like reminding yourself that you can do it, because even if I talk to my friends or anyone about it and they tell me I can do it, I think it's just important for you to know that you can do it yourself. So
Mhm.
just like telling yourself literally as if you were another person that you can do it, and reminding yourself of everything that's happened, because oftentimes when we have gone through this journey, since you're going through it, you're kind of also seeing the ups, you're seeing the downs, and the downs affect you a lot more than the ups,
Mhm.
and you kind of have that in your mind. So just reminding yourself that, yeah, I've actually done this, and if I've done this, then this can happen. And we don't celebrate like our small wins enough.
Mhm.
Like having even one person message you about an impact that you've made on them is a big deal. And I think
Hmm.
like I take those things for granted now. But
Yeah.
I know that at some point I would have dreamed of having all these things that I
Yeah.
have now. Having like people that I've had on my podcast, having people tell me that my work actually impacts them on every day. Like all these things, I just kind of oversee it. So I think
Mhm.
whenever I have like moments of self-doubt, I actually sit down with myself and I'm like, there's so many people that believe in you. Why am I not believing in myself? I think just reminding yourself about the little things that you've overcome to get to that point, and reminding yourself that you're doing it for a higher purpose. I think that always grounds me. And I'm like, yeah, I know that I'm doing this for something and it eventually will happen. I just need to keep working towards it. And like, instead of using this time to like doubt myself, I need to put in the work that needs to be done.
100%. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you guys deal with self-doubt?
You want
I
to go
just
first?
I
Yeah.
just work a lot more. Like I kind of just push it on the side and I just like getting stuff done because it kind of contradicts my self-doubt that I've actually done stuff for them. Like
Yeah.
I'm more like just, I don't celebrate small wins because I tend to forget to, if I'm being completely honest. I'm always on to the next thing.
Yeah.
What's the next thing? What's the next thing?
Yeah.
So that is something I am aware of, but I need to be working on. Yeah, I just like working a lot more when I'm in self-doubt.
That's fair. I think my story is a bit different with self-doubt because when I was 18, all I wanted to do was like drink my college life away. I told mom and dad that I was like 4 years, I'm just gonna chill and then I'll figure life out. Like I'll just like start making money
Yeah.
off the bank. And I was super materialistic, I would say, growing up. And to an extent, I do think I am, but somewhere after I moved to Vancouver, which was 3 years ago, I think a part of me changed because of just the city that I surrounded myself with, where I saw the opportunities that UBC was offering, and I saw some of the students taking advantage of that. And I keep telling everyone this, where like UBC has not taught me anything in the classroom that I could not have learned for free. Um,
Yeah.
what I think it has taught me is how important it is to surround yourself with the right people, but also how important it is to show up for yourself consistently. So it's taught me soft skills like understanding people. It's taught me soft skills like what working hard will get you, but it's also very self-motivated. Um,
Yeah.
and when I'm doubting myself, where I'm like, okay, am I doing the right thing? Like, I question it every day. I'm like, will what I do right now be enough? And every day I'm like, all I can do from my end and what I can control is how hard I work, how consistently I work, which I think is very important,
Yeah.
and what the kind of person I choose to be when I do that.
Mhm.
And I just think showing up day in, day out, uh, and putting your best foot forward take me will take me further than not showing up and questioning what I'm doing every day will. And so I think
Yeah.
that's the mindset that I go with, right?
100%. I like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
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 One more
And
thing as
also,
well. Sorry, go on, go on.
no, go on.
Yeah, one more thing as well is I've started listening to Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah.
That just changed my life,
Power of
man.
now?
Power of Now by
Okay.
Eckhart Tolle. I hear the audiobook
Yeah.
over and over again, and
Okay.
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's a shot. Yeah, I'll
Um,
give that a listen. Yeah. What were you
yeah.
saying?
I was just saying that like our 20s are the times that we can fail
Yeah.
because we don't have so much responsibility attached to us. We have the opportunities and we have like so many things that we want to try out. This is the time that you can experiment, you can fail, you can try again, you can maybe be successful the second time, maybe fail again. But this is the time for it. Like when I'm 30 and 40, I want stability, but right now I'm okay being like just figuring it out, trying different things,
Yeah.
trying everything, and then just seeing what life throws at me.
100%. I think failure is so important. And
Yeah.
um I failed with a bunch. I was never like academically gifted. I
Me too.
was, yeah, no, straight up, I'm not. I was also not like, the like most like sporty person in school. But I think having that in my childhood and then transitioning into the person that I've become today taught me that it's okay to fail.
Yeah.
Like a really good friend of mine, Shetty, he back home was like, dude, every time you doubt yourself with something, just remember you're the same person that got rejected by the same girl 7 times in the eighth grade, and you still made it out of that. And I was like, holy shit, you're right. So he's like, yeah, failure shouldn't bother you. And I'm like, bro, you're so right. Like,
7 times?
7 times.
Damn.
Yeah. But I think what it
You're
taught me,
totally
like,
brilliant.
it's okay to fail. Like, people
Yeah.
move on with life, and you will move on too. It's just a matter of what you choose to do with that failure. Like, do you stop or do you keep going? And I think every day I make that conscious decision to keep going.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
I
about you,
love that
Ananya?
because I think I was like in school especially, I was like
Hmm.
always top of my class. I was so scared to like fail. And I think I hadn't seen failure. Like I lived in a very sheltered environment and my family never let me see those things. But then I think what moving away from home really taught me, it made me see so much because um I don't know, I just was like my eyes open to so many different perspectives. I failed and like I was upset and I was sad and like I was going through so much at that time when I moved. My whole life felt like it was kind of like uprooted. But
Yeah.
then I feel like I was able to rebuild it and I was able to see what I like, what I don't like, and what my value is, what I bring to situations. And I think all of those things actually really helped me build my self-worth a lot stronger. And like he was saying it, like it just helps you not be afraid of it. So I think
Hmm.
I still am afraid of it, and I think everyone will always be slightly afraid of failure. But then it's like I know that I can come out of it, and that thought really helps me.
That's fantastic.
I think so too. And wait, I'm glad you bring that up because that brings up a question in my head, right? I basically the way my life trajectory at least went was like mediocre, and then I started doing well. But for a lot of people, it goes the way, like you're saying, right? Which is like great in school, topper of your class, killing in
Yeah.
school. But then all of a sudden you're 18, you're moving abroad for college, and like life hits. And I
Yeah.
guess this question is for those people listening in. It's like how do you deal with failing after all you've seen in your childhood is success, 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 and your standards are so high, but then you just realize sometimes that like you know, it's some things are just not meant to be. And so how do you deal with kind of life hitting you in the face like that and then coming out of it a stronger person rather than a weaker one?
Yeah, I think when that happened to me, like I was just going through various different things and it felt like all aspects of my life were crumbling and all I
Mhm.
wanted to do was just go back to how it used to be.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
then I realized that if I'm put in that situation, then there's something for me to learn out of this.
Hmm.
Um, and I think it was very interesting because you resist it for a while and you try to change everything you can, but then you realize that maybe what needs to change is just the way you look at life
Hmm.
and the way that you perceive yourself, situations, and what are your standards that you're setting for different, or like your boundaries that you're setting for different people in your life, different situations. What actually makes you happy? What doesn't make you happy? What's your higher purpose? I believe that everyone has like this one higher purpose or this like calling, something that really intrinsically motivates you to do everything. Like every project of mine for me is all linked to the fact that I want to make some sort of an impact. I want to be able to touch people's lives. So
Yeah.
every project that I'm doing, like for me, it might seem like a lot of things, but
Yeah.
in my head, it all just goes back to like I want to be able to make an impact. Um, and that time really helped me get very clear on that. And I think that was very important for me then going ahead because it helped me make the decisions that I wanted to. Like, I want to do the podcast because I want to make an impact, or I want to create content because I want to make an impact. But I actually don't want to do this random talk because it's not really helping me make an impact. Like, I was able to differentiate the things that I wanted to do, the things I didn't want to do, um, and just get very clear on everything. Like, I feel like what failure teaches you often is what you want to be good at. It teaches you what, it just gives you a lot of clarity when you come out of it and resilience for life. So, yeah.
That's
That's
fair.
fair.
Do you
Yeah.
agree?
No, I agree, like 100%. Like, yeah, dude, this I failed so many like not only in videos and all. Like I failed in school as well. Like we're growing up like multiple times. Like I failed
Yeah.
like exams and all the good stuff. So like it's definitely like something I'm glad I failed at
Mm-hmm.
because now I'm kind of like reaping the
Benefits?
benefits of it. Like just being like immune to it. Like not immune to it, but like like it's all right. Okay, cool. It's all right. It's no big
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
Just moving on with life. And it's very cool. So I'm curious, like what is one piece of advice you would give as a upcoming creator yourself to someone who wants to get the ball rolling with content creation or wants to get into content or is a content creator already? What's one piece of advice you'd give them based on all the experience you have right now?
I think I would just say don't overthink it because I think a lot of times when you're making content and when you're getting into it, you're kind of searching for all the advice you can get. You want to learn how to be the best at editing. You want to learn how to formulate your thoughts in the best way. Um, and I think all those things will come naturally. But the more you overthink it, the more that you like play so many scenarios in your head, you'll just never get to it. And I think the quicker you are, just pick up the camera, record whatever you want. If it's not good, that's fine. It'll get better tomorrow and get better the day after. You'll figure it out along the way, and that's how a lot of people do it.
Mhm.
And not to compare yourself with creators who have worked for like many years because it's very natural you're seeing them on your um, like Instagram every day. You open your Instagram and you see so many pieces of content that are doing well. So not to compare yourself to them because you never know, that might be their thousandth with video that they've posted and they're finally getting the success they deserve. But you're comparing it at your first video.
Mhm.
Like there's so many different stages, there's so many different factors to consider. Like someone might have worked for another company doing content, so they might get it like more naturally. But if you don't have any experience, yeah, you might take a bit longer, but that's very natural and that's normal. So I think not to overthink it and not to compare yourself to anyone that you see on the internet.
I
Yeah,
like that.
true.
And this really interesting thing that I read is about like when you open your For You page, you're
Mhm.
seeing different people's lifestyle
Yeah.
and you're kind of thinking that everyone lives like this. Certain like there's certain aesthetics to it, there's like a certain luxury to it, whatever it is. You're seeing so many things. You're seeing people like do so many things that you're not doing in your life and beating yourself up for it. But what you don't realize is 80% of those people who are showing up on your feed are influencers who are being paid to do that.
Yeah.
So you're not like living like I mean, sorry, the rest of the world is living like you, but you're just comparing yourself to that like 20% of the population that exists in the world. And that's why it always like messes with your brain and messes with your head.
That's fair.
100%.
Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you for that. I think that's right. Comparison is the killer of joy, as they say.
Yeah.
And so I think doing what you do, but also just making sure that you're true to yourself is so important. Um, which is what I think all of us like small, I don't want to say creators, like creators, like, podcast hosts and everything. That's all we're trying to do. And impacting someone's life, even if it's one person at this stage is huge for us. It's a huge win that I think we should celebrate. And I think you do a really good job of articulating how important it is to be vulnerable, but also how important it is to be yourself and be honest to yourself. And I think it's been great.
Yeah, having you on.
Yeah, it's been great having you on, Ananya. I think you've shown us what, depth of character can do for not only your personal brand, but like to other people's lives, which I think is so important. And I want to thank you for giving us your time.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. It was amazing talking to you all and sharing everything.
Yeah, of course.
Nice.
Hopefully we get another episode in
In
sometime
person.
soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
But you
would
have a
love that.
great day. Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you for hopping
Thank
on.
you so
Take
much.
care.
All
See
right.
you.
Yeah. See ya. Leave a like, subscribe, the classic,
Yes, sir.
follow us
No.
on Spotify.
Yeah, and
That'd
follow
be great.
Nadia on Spotify as
Spotify as
well.
well. The
Yeah.
links will be in the description down below.
Yeah. Daily Dose of A. It's a sick podcast. Yeah.